And it's these little things that you can utilize on a regular basis to help you get and maintain regular sleep. It's not about getting one night of good sleep. It is about getting good sleep 90% of the time. I've had women that improve their sleep and they lose weight, right? I've had women that get better sleep. They improve their energy, their muscle recovery, everything. Everything changes when you sleep better. That's why working on your sleep and making sure you have great quality sleep is so essential. It's so essential for your health, for your hormones, for your metabolism, and everything. But know that it naturally changes throughout the cycle. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Female Health Solution podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Beth Westy. We're going to talk about sleep and how sleep is impacted during your cycle. Now, when I talk about this, I'm going to use kind of a general term. This can be different for everybody, but in general, there can be different positives to having a different flux in your hormones throughout the month and better sleep. So some gals will notice that they sleep better after their period starts, even up to and through ovulation, and then they really notice disruptive sleep the week before their period. That's pretty common. Your specific pattern might be different than that. And if you have an irregular cycle, if you have a really tough cycle and you're like, yeah, there's something going on, I know I have hormonal imbalance, I know this is really off, chances are you have really terrible sleep or a tougher time getting to sleep, staying to sleep during regular times of the cycle where other people have really good sleep, right? Every time I do a talk and I, speak to a group of women and we talk about sleep and how typically sleep is improved during, weeks 1, 2, even 3 sometimes of the cycle. Some women are like, oh no, that's the worst for me. Yep, that's again an indicator that your hormones would be really off. Yeah. So when we look at this and talk about sorry, I'm sitting in my hair. I need a haircut. It's too long. And talk about the hormonal imbalance overall and how it impacts our sleep. There's a lot of things that go into our sleep. Women in general need more sleep than men do. And if you have different phases of life that can impact your sleep, yeah. I, for one, personally, I sleep better when my system either has more estrogen in it or lower levels of hormone, right? Yeah. So leading up to, like, right before your period starts, during your period, that's when your hormone levels are the lowest. Estrogen and progesterone, boop, lowest. So if you're noticing that that's when you sleep really well, great. That's an indicator that your system does really well without that. If your estrogen starts to rise, day 5 starts to get even bigger, day 10, all the way up to day 12, 14, and your sleep is even better, again, a signal that estrogen is really good for your sleep, right? And then that's helpful. You may notice that your sleep is deeper, you get more sleep cycles. We can talk about how to track this as well. I've used a Garmin. I've got a new ring. I'll talk about this in an upcoming episode more, to help track body temperature, sleep cycles, all those things, disruption. If you wake at night, have a hard time getting back to sleep, all of that. But that could be an indicator that you do really well. Now, after ovulation, when your body then starts to release more progesterone, some women have a really hard time sleeping around days, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Again, giving you this information so that you can track for yourself that during the cycle. And that's actually when we have women take their Dutch test, is during that high hormone phase. If that's you, then your system oftentimes has a really hard time processing all that hormone, high hormone, because progesterone is the highest and estrogen goes through a little bump there. Yeah. And then progesterone starts to come down, estrogen starts to come down, which is again where women typically have a harder time when those hormones start to drop. So for you, if you notice how much sleep you're getting, what time did you go to bed? What time did you wake up? Do you feel like you got good sleep? Do you feel like you slept really well? Did you wake up in the middle of the night? Take a sheet of paper, list, numbers on the side, days 1 through 28 or however long your cycle is, and just record your sleep like that. So if you start recording and start noticing, I sleep really well, except for after ovulation, or I sleep really well, except for days 25, 26, and 27. Oh my gosh, I have such a hard time sleeping during those days. I've noticed that my sleep is really disrupted. Being able to fall asleep, stay asleep, what are things that help with that? Hormones overall with that is progesterone. So progesterone does have a positive impact on some of the neurotransmitters that are made in your brain, in your body, GABA specifically. Progesterone does help the production of GABA, which can help you regulate sleep. It is more calming, more soothing. So there are a lot of people that will say, oh my gosh, you should be sleeping better on days 15 through 28, right? During your luteal phase, because your body's higher in progesterone and that's very calming and relaxing. Sure. But if there's not a good balance for you, that's not going to help your sleep. If there's not a good balance overall, that's not going to be good. You're going to struggle. Now, is this something that, can be improved upon easily? Yes, easily. Now, if it's progesterone that's helpful for sleep, what about estrogen? Oh, estrogen is helpful for sleep too, right? Estrogen is helpful for sleep. It oftentimes improves the quality of sleep once you fall asleep, right? It's not known to necessarily like calm you down, but it can get you into a deeper sleep and have less waking up in the middle of the night. You may notice that this is a pattern for you and you may not. But without fail, one of the things that I see again and again and again for women is that when they start to improve their hormones, their sleep improves. And this is something that we ask everybody that we work with. We ask them how their sleep is. That is one of the things on every single check-in call we have. We ask about, we want to know about, even if they're like, yeah, I'm sleeping well, or nope, I've always slept well. The number of times that I hear, I thought I was sleeping really good, but I'm sleeping even better. I didn't even know I could sleep better. I'm getting the same amount of sleep, like the same number of hours, but I am waking up really rested. I can tell I'm getting deeper sleep. I'm having these dreams. It's wild. Yep. Or women who are like, yeah, I used to wake up a couple times a night to go to the bathroom. I am zonked out, sleeping through the night. No problem. How would that be? Hormone regulation, right? Hormone regulation. Now, are there a ton of other things that go into sleep, right? Cortisol, nutrients, right? Yes, all of that, right? That's sort of aside. Melatonin production, all of those things. Yes, of course. But it is not without fail that, if you're starting to work on your hormones, your health and everything, your sleep will improve. It really will. Where I think women get really stuck in working on sleep and trying to sleep better is, oh my gosh, let me take this sleep melatonin. There's this melatonin for sleep. This is going to help me. So and so takes this or that. I'm going to try a nighttime sleepy cocktail. I'm going to try this, that, and the other. And you're thinking, I'm going to do this thing for sleep, just for sleep, and that's what's going to help me. And you're looking at that part of your health as an isolated system. And no system works alone in our body. That is why I include this and talk about it. That is why it's so important to work on your hormones and your sleep at the same time. Are there other things you can do? Yes, I like using weighted blanket. I like using earplugs. If it's too light when I'm trying to go to bed, I like to go to bed early. And sometimes in the summer the sun is up later, so I will use a sleep mask, or something to shut out the light. I like to have soft light on as I'm getting ready for bed, all these things. And then I also use some herbs to help me get to sleep and stay asleep. Not all the time, but especially if I am really having a tough day, I've had a really stressful day, I'm trying to wind my brain down. It won't wind down, right? And this is a very common thing for women who are estrogen dominant. They don't have enough progesterone in their system because progesterone is that calming It adds that calming aspect to your system to help you wind down at night to get to sleep. If you're feeling like you've always had a hard time with this is where I developed this sleep support tincture to use in tandem with the other estro balance, or again, or I say or progesterone balance, or because we don't use these at the same time, right? Days 1 through 14, days 15 through 28, we cycle them through. But I added in this sleep support. It's hops, lemon balm, passion flower, valerian, kava kava. Oh my God, kava kava is so calming. California poppy, chamomile, very calming things. This will help you wind down. And the reason this is so popular and so many women love it is because when they have a hard time getting to sleep, boom. It's very fast acting and it will really help wind you down and get you to sleep. I designed this because most women have estrogen excess issues, and this complements that beautifully when you're having a hard time getting to sleep. And if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep, this can help. You can use it, right? As long as it's not like, oh, I woke up at 5 and I don't have to be up till 6. No, right? No. But if you're like, I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm up for an hour or two, I can't get back to sleep, this will help. And it's not going to be something that lasts in your system too long. This will not impact you in the morning when you wake up. So you don't have to worry about feeling groggy or weird or anything like that. So it's something that I designed specifically to work with the body and to work the female body. And I like that it's a dropper too. Again, this is why I love all my tinctures. And the feedback I hear on the tinctures all the time is because you can dose it for what you need. I have some women that they'll use just like 5 drops, just a tiny bit to help them wind down until they hit a certain point of their cycle. And they're like, oh my gosh, I need 20 drops. Yeah, fair, right? 20 drops is a full serving. And it's these little things that you can utilize on a regular basis to help you get and maintain regular sleep. It's not about getting one night of good sleep. It is about getting good sleep 90% of the time. I've had women that improve their sleep and they lose weight, right? I've had women that get better sleep. They improve their energy, their muscle recovery, everything. Everything changes when you sleep better. That's why working on your sleep and making sure you have great quality sleep is so essential. It's so essential for your health, for your hormones, for your metabolism, and everything. But know that it naturally changes throughout the cycle, right? So if you have felt like this, where you're like, yeah, I sleep really well sometimes, I sleep great sometimes, and other times I really, really, really struggle. That's one, very normal. 2, it's oftentimes related to and connected to your hormones and hormonal imbalances. And 3, something that we work on all the time in the Female Hormone Solution program. How do we do that? Well, we start with a Dutch test, dried urine test for comprehensive hormones. We look at what your system is doing specifically and say, okay, here's how we can work on these imbalances, work on processing, help your system function better overall. And then here are specific tools that we layer in that are really designed to help you get better faster, feel better faster, feel the positive effects sooner, and again, to help you sleep. So that's literally one of my favorite things when women are like, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping so well. So well. As someone myself, personally, I have struggled with bouts of insomnia at different points in my life. I fully know how tough it is. I fully know how hard it is to function off of very little or no sleep, right? This is besides even having kids and babies. But just straight up insomnia. I would get insomnia during pregnancy. That was really hard because I'd be so tired and just couldn't sleep. I get insomnia at different points, from stress or other, trauma related things, through that healing process, all of those things. It comes and goes, ebbs and flows. Every few years, I'll go through a stint at a time. Sometimes it's a couple of weeks, sometimes it's a couple of months where I will get straight up insomnia and I can't sleep. And so having these tools, game changer. And again, like I said, it is not melatonin. Melatonin can have its time and place, but I would rather have my body make it. I would rather, drink some tart cherry juice and get it from foods and help my system that way versus pumping in. Oh my gosh, I have some people that they take an insane amount of melatonin and they're like, yeah, I can't sleep without it. And I'm like, well, we need to change some things because that's a lot. Your body's not going to be able to make it if you keep pumping it in. Right. And that's true of any hormone. Any hormone that you take exogenously that comes in from external triggers your own body not to make it itself. So you want to be very cautious about what you're utilizing. And again, that's why I love talking about adaptogens and herbs and why I use them when I work with people. This is something that we customize for every person we work with in the Female Hormone Solution program. Right? We make these specific recommendations for each person because everybody is different. And we want your body to function at its best. So make sure you guys are on the wait list for this program. Make sure that you are getting all the information sent to you. If you have questions, let me know. But the waitlist link you'll find below, click that link, just fill out the information there, and you'll be notified when we do launch the next group. The group, again, is something that it is a group run program, but we work individually with each person. You get one-on-one attention, calls, focus, everything within there. But you also have a group of, women to go through this program with, ask questions to, and learn alongside with as well. So it's a really, really unique way to run a program. And I've been doing it for years. I've been doing this, oh my gosh, how many years? Not quite a decade, but we're getting there. Yes. So yeah, please let me know if there's anything else that you need. Thank you for tuning in today. And of course, I'm here if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.